Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Group Chat. Dee's back. Dee, I feel like I heard you were you sneezing or was that a cough you had?
No, I'm completely fine.
Feels like he had a fever.
Yeah, he looks feverish.
No, honestly, I ran this morning. I ran yesterday. I feel fucking
So you're fatigued.
amazing.
So you're saying you're feeling a little fatigued.
Yeah. I don't have the luxury of being fatigued.
Okay, well, Dee's back, and we're going to see, does he have the Ami or not? We're going to hear about Miami and Art Basel. Also, Anand, we got to talk about your weekend. I saw you were deep in the mix. I saw you posting some stories with the youth.
Yes.
Baby Omnicron.
Baby Omnicron. Big concert. So I want to talk about that. Stock market. There's particularly some stocks that are taking a dump I think we should mention.
Yep.
And then Anand, I have some questions because
you're poor.
I'm poor. And you've been telling me since, I think it was 2008, about Bitcoin. And I believed you, last year. But now I'm poor. So I got to ask you what's going on with crypto.
Okay.
And then
Everybody
we have
ready?
a special interview with Ian.
Oh, yeah. What am I doing? Then we have a special interview with Ian Rogers, everyone's favorite, the Group Chat's Naval.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about NFTs. We talk about crypto. We talk about, I spent so much time on Ledger the last week when I was out in Miami. It's incredible. It's really like the one-stop shop for all things Web3. So we get into that as well.
Okay. Big episode. Let's do it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Okay, so here we are. Dee's back. How was it? How was Art Basel?
I mean, from the purposes of why we go there, it lived up to the hype. It
so
was
art, so just high class art viewing.
If you want to go and appreciate the most beautiful pieces of work in the world, it was unbelievable.
Got it. That's good to know. I'm glad that's still intact.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the reason why I was there.
Got it. Okay, got it. What exactly were you there for?
I honestly went because I know everyone in fashion was there. A lot of people in technology are there. A lot of people that I just wanted to get in front of were there. So it was an easy opportunity to see a ton of people at once. I ended up staying with Kevin Gould, who was one of the co-founders of Glamnetic and Insert Name Year. And, it was awesome just staying with him and just talking. I mean, we were just geeking out, talking about work a lot. And then it was amazing just to be out. I think I'm trying to think if I'd been to an event where I would just run into everyone in the last kind of year or two, and I really haven't. And basically, you just ran into all these people, including close friends that I hadn't seen in a while. And Miami, here's the thing, it was a lot of fun, and it's exactly what you want Miami to be: crazy, wild, parties, fun, all that. The challenge was getting around Miami was a complete disaster.
Because of traffic, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Miami has third world infrastructure. So, they may have a coin, but I can't tell you how many times I was lucky I was by myself because I literally walked for hours to get to locations. It was so fucking bad. If I had my wife there or if there was a group of people, not everyone wants to get out of the car and walk. And it was so bad. It was, from that perspective, it was horrendous. I'll tell you a couple key observations. Obviously, everyone's richer than ever. Just the money being spent everywhere was just obnoxious. And not only from people, but companies, right? I didn't really go to even one event that was crypto, NFT, technology. I didn't go to any of those events. I went to everything that was more traditional parties, traditional events that would happen down there. And it was just over the top, usual, just excess to the nine. And I think the thing about it is there's a couple observations. The first observation is there's clearly two worlds now. There's the crypto NFT world, and then specifically at Art Basel, and then there's the old traditional art world. So amongst my group of friends, so call us late 30s, early 40s, and older, I didn't hear the word NFT or crypto once. Not once.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about that stuff, right? And,
Yeah.
and by the way, all the people I was with had record years, making more money than ever. And so it was like, whoa, like, you know, you used to keep thinking it's only like one group of people that are making money, and it's not. It's like everyone, if you're at a certain, you know, at a certain level, all of these people are making money. And then I actually did a small meetup with some group chat listeners, and we all met at the Mandarin Oriental in Brickell, and there was like maybe 8 of us that just like hung out and talked. And they're all younger, probably mainly sub 30. They were super into crypto. They were all about Web3, and that's what they were excited about. And they were going to all the events that were more catered to that demographic. So it was like, you know, Tale of Two Cities. In Charles Dickens' book, Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times and the worst of times. It was just like the best of times at one part of town and the best of times on the other side of town. Yeah. So I think that part was pretty cool. And I think what's interesting also is walking the the Art Miami Art Context, like 2 shows. I walked with a friend of mine. Just the art world, it's still predominantly traditional art. So like, you know, you still are seeing George Condo, Ed Ruscha, and then like all these emerging artists. Like I got to see this guy Javier Calleja and another black artist named Abu Dia. And there's like this movement of like more like ethnic artists that are like blowing up, which is pretty cool to see. But the only NFT shit I saw in those galleries was basically Bored Apes. Like I saw apes and I saw a couple of punks that were being displayed. And then I'll tell you, the metaverse might be, you know, happening in terms of finance. There ain't nothing going to replace Art Basel in the fucking metaverse. That shit is not happening. Because here's the thing. As soon as you get money, I don't care if you made your money in crypto, technology, metaverse, you still want that. Yeah. And I can't explain to you what that is in Miami until you go, because it's a package of things that happen by getting to be in that circle. That can never be replaced on metaverse. It's like,
so you're real bearish on the metaverse after a trip to Miami.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are like betting on the future of being metaverse, but they're in Miami, so it's still going to be.
But isn't it binary? Like, not binary, sorry. Isn't it like dual track?
What do you mean?
Like, there's going to be the metaverse and there's going to be IRL.
I mean, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. It was exciting to see the energy. I got to see our guy, John Francois from Hugh Blow. They threw a awesome blowout event that Usain Bolt and Dustin Johnson, Drama's boy. Is that Dustin Johnson? He's the golfer, right?
The golfer?
Usain Bolt was there?
Yeah.
Usain Bolt was there?
Bolt was there, which was dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking blockbuster. Wow.
Yeah, they threw a star-studded event, like insane crowd, insane event. H Wood threw an incredible party at the One Hotel, and then another one upstairs at Swan. You know, everyone lived up to the hype. I wanted to see a lot more people, but I physically could not get there. And I'm pretty fast on my feet. I'm light on the toes.
Well, not once that Omicron gets into the lobby.
Yeah. I mean,
but don't you think don't you think in the future, I just want to like see how we are thinking about it. Like, don't you think the metaverse is kind of like social media meets gaming meets whatever? It's very like middle of the country loves it. But like we're not like strapping on the VR goggles. Like we're in Miami.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I just want to be clear of like, are we all retiring to our rooms with VR glasses?
No, I mean, I've never had more FOMO in the last 2 to 3 years than this week.
It was pretty FOMO inducing.
Even John was very FOMO.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I usually like doesn't really bother me. It seemed like a really great time.
And by the way, like incredible weather. And you know what's crazy is everyone was wearing a luxury. I mean, just the watches, the clothes. You saw like, and I didn't see any robberies.
Well, Florida. They're law and order.
They are law and order.
Suarez.
DeSantis is very law and order. He's on that team.
Yeah, I mean,
was there jewelry? Was there watches out and about?
Oh my God, everyone was flossing. We were in Design District. Our friend Mikey and I walking to stores. Like the bags people had, like Louis Vuitton had a Black Friday sale.
Walking.
Yeah, and it's just walking around.
Walking down the street.
And no one's getting robbed.
Nobody. I saw Gunna in a Lambo just parked valet, just walking around shopping. Kids shopping, women shopping. It's not like we live in Gotham City. It's a very different vibe.
Did it make LA feel like a little like more fucked up?
Yeah, I mean, I walked away from thinking like, you know, in the private conversations in LA, everyone's like, basically, hide your wife, hide your kids. Like,
hide your watch, hide
your watch, hide your car. And in Miami, every third car is a Lamborghini. Everyone's wearing their watches, and they clearly feel safe to do that. And so I don't know what the crime is like in Miami. I'm sure it's high. I'm sure there's plenty of shit going on. But just visually looking at it, I was like, damn, people are flossing and not afraid to. Whereas here, that's not the conversations we're having.
I feel like they need to just combine Fashion Week and Art Basel. You know, like it seems like they're like tiptoeing around. Like you should really have Art Basel, NFT Week, and Fashion Week should all be one thing in Miami. That's just like the biggest thing ever.
And Super Bowl.
Why not?
And so
you just wouldn't be able to drive anywhere. You'd have to literally walk.
Yeah. Here's my big takeaway. I think when I think about where group chat fits in this, we should be having a party at Art Basel. We should be having a party at Super Bowl. We should be having an event at Fashion Week. We should be at every culturally relevant thing because our listeners are there. The amount of group chat listeners I ran into, not only obviously just with our meetup, but just out and about, people are like, oh my God, I listened to the podcast. I love what you guys are doing. Like when we launch our NFT and we have a presence, like I think our community is so ingrained in this stuff and just visually, like we need to be present at these events. And I think we'll bring something different than like just another party. Because I think if we were to go there and say, we're going to throw a rager, 11 to 5. And, oh, by the way, we don't have Zach Bia DJing our event. Like, it's going to be fucking hard to get people to come, right? Like, Like, you got to have Zach Bia and you got to have Diplo, Cardi B, and, Shepard Fairey live painting to get anyone to come to your party. Right?
All the above. And we are already, I don't know if you saw, but like we're becoming NFT influencers accidentally.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day on some big NFT account, we are getting featured.
Yeah. It's really crazy. I would say we're like pretty knowledgeable on quite a bit of things, and NFTs is the least of those. But it's where we're getting the most love.
What are you talking about, bro? It's crypto.
I'm just saying, of all the topics we talk about, I would pick our thorough knowledge of NFTs to be the lowest of all of those topics. But that's where we're getting the most.
No, but I would actually correct you on that. I would say they acknowledge these NFT handles, acknowledge our knowledge on crypto, and want to magnify that.
I would say that not enough podcasts are talking about it, so they're like dying for content.
That's probably true. If you just say like, "What's a CryptoPunk?" They're like, "Look, content." Yeah, that's great. Well,
Don't discount us, Drama.
Okay. I'm sorry. Listen, I'll discount myself. When I see myself on @NFT, I'm like, well, I don't belong there.
I heard the little bit they cut up, and I was like, what Jordan cut up, I was like, man, that sounds smart.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about. None of us own one NFT. No, Dee does. It's rapidly losing value.
Yeah. That one's down like 98%.
Yeah, it's worth 2 pennies now.
Yeah.
And then Anand, you...
real quickly, my takeaway on NFTs, I don't believe anything but the blue chip projects are going to be worth anything. I think most of them are donuts from a speculative purpose. I think NFTs for building community or fandom or just a relationship with your consumer, unbelievable tool. The amount of people that were like peddling NFTs, I was like, this is bullshit.
Joke.
Bullshit.
Yeah. It's a joke. It makes no sense. And there's just no way. There's no way. Put that on your NFT page.
There's too much supply in the NFT.
You're listening to a couple experts, okay? So listen to
it. At NFT. NFTs
let's go.
Are bullshit.
all but 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anand, now we get to you. You said you had FOMO that you weren't in Miami, which was pretty surprising because it looked like you were in the middle of a mosh pit. So you posted on your story over the weekend that you were at a Baby Keem show, and I don't think maybe early Travis Scott shows. Of all the shows, we've been going to shows, small, big, all around for the last 15 years. And of all the shows that I've been to, other than early Travis Scott, I don't think I've seen a crowd of people going as insane as the Baby Keem show you posted.
It was absolutely ridiculous. So
where was that at?
It was at the Fonda Theater in Hollywood.
Okay.
Did you just discover who Baby Keem was?
No, of course not. What is that?
What's your favorite
kind of
song?
question is that?
I mean, what's his favorite song? Name
Family
3
Ties.
songs.
Fuck off.
What's your second favorite?
Orange soda, bitch. I was hearing the clip notes from Anthony on the show. I was like,
you got the brief?
Yeah. He was like, this is what you're going to say.
Yeah.
No, but I there's a few things I want to point out from the Baby Keem show because Anthony made the comment to a text with me and Dee that I was like someone
An Indian fob
that like landed from India to America and just started taking videos and was like, I cannot believe
like
what's going
iPad?
on. Yeah.
On your Android.
Took your
I
iPad
honestly
to the show.
cannot believe how the youth is today. I've been going to rap shows since I was 18 years old. Like, I'm not like, I'm not that uncool, but this was nuts. This was absolutely nuts. The DJ that played kind of to warm up the crowd. Yeah. So they played like the Drake, the Future. They did all the hits, like everything you can think of. And they're just moshing, nonstop moshing,
just
moshing,
to the
moshing.
DJ?
Yes, to the DJ. Not even when Keem's on.
God. See, and these kids are dangerous.
And they're all...
I'm just saying, these kids have been inside for the last 2 years.
So they're all moshing. And then Anthony looks at me. He goes, wait till Kanye comes on. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, wait, watch. And they play Beautiful Morning, just the beat. And they all put their hands up like he's Jesus.
He knows that's what he is.
It's literally insane. They all put their hands up, and all these kids, they're probably 20 to 22-year-olds. I don't know what around that age.
Yeah. All males?
And all white males.
Yeah.
It's 100% white males.
They're the craziest ones.
They're
the ones like punching each other in the crowd. Yeah.
They put their hands up like he's fucking Jesus. And Beautiful Morning drops, and they all go fucking crazy.
Just to the DJ.
This is before Keem comes on. And I was like
these kids don't have a fucking iPad and an iPod and a speaker?
Yeah.
They're just that excited to be outside?
I don't know, but two takeaways. Keem's a superstar because once Keem came on, it went absolutely bananas. Yeah. And Kanye's Jesus.
So bigger reaction to Kanye than Drake?
Not even close.
Yeah.
And I don't even care for Kanye. Like, it's funny, like people my age group, we're like, Kanye's a joke. For these 20-year-olds, Kanye's Jesus.
I don't think Kanye's Jake. I know he is Jesus.
Wait, so he's Jesus to you? He's a joke to me, but he's Jesus to a 20-year-old.
I don't believe in Jesus, so
Kanye's it.
Yeah,
whatever. You don't believe in Jesus, you believe in Jesus. You should make that shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it was actually mind blowing to understand the power that Kanye has over the youth. And now, like, as much as I kind of like, think he's kind of a joke, I know really why he's not, because
he's not at all. And that's
it's
why,
funny because I kind of thought like to that 20-year-old crowd, he was like they were like he was old.
But I give you an example. When Ferocious was on the pod, he was talking about beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy, like Kanye West. Like that kid's 18. Kanye's untouchable to young people. He
actually is. I hate to fucking give D credit because D's the only Kanye stan amongst the three of us.
Yeah.
The show showed me that Kanye is a fucking god, and I don't get it.
Did they play Travis Scott music?
Really thought.
Nope. No Travis.
Wow. I think Travis
really is
right
like
there.
canceled.
Travis is right there. He was right there, and then obviously, the unfortunate incident happened. But
what also, so Keem came on, and his show was incredible, and the songs were awesome, and he's just like, he's clearly captivated the youth. But I will also say, after seeing the way kids act in concerts, I'm not surprised what happened in Astroworld.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw your video, let me make sure I put this right. It was like, wow, that's crazy. Kids are crazy. That's nuts. But I see how if that was like, 10,000 of that, it would be dangerous. Mm-hmm. In that small venue, no big deal. Everyone's safe. It's fine. But if there was 10,000 people doing that, I get it.
Yeah. But
that's insane.
Yep. But I mean, Keem actually has the youth. So congratulations, Anthony.
Keem's album, top to bottom, best rap album. It's incredible.
Of the year?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard, I'll give every big rap album a shot. And that's the only one I'm still listening to, top to bottom.
D got so mad that I posted Keem, and he's like, "Oh, is this your new Kid Leroy?"
Anand was saying Kid Leroy's the next biggest star. The Kid Leroy gave up. He's done. He gave up.
What happened to Kid Leroy? Why did he go fucking crickets?
He said he gave up.
Mental health,
no, he didn't.
bro. Yeah, no,
he said that?
100%.
He tapped out.
Yes.
By the time he comes back, he's just going to be Leroy. He's not going to be a kid anymore.
It's old Leroy. He had one song and tapped out?
Yeah, he said he had to take a break.
Man, you're usually pretty reliable, but that was a bad bet.
I mean, the lyrics of the song kind of were a little dark.
Yeah.
For an 18-year-old.
Can't wake up wasted every morning if you're 18. Wake up and go for a jog. Okay. Anything else we're missing from the weekend?
No. Like I said, go to Art Basel, go to Sundance, go to Super Bowl, go to Coachella, go to Monaco for the Grand Prix. Do everything. You should do it all. If you can figure it out how to get there. And a lot of people were coming up to me like, man, I just showed up. I was like, all right, that's good. Just show up. There's a cheap way to do everything.
Yeah, they're listening. Was anyone concerned about the Ami?
I did not hear the. Yeah, one friend of mine was semi like. I got in a car. I'm not going to say his name, but I got in the car with him. No questions asked. Yeah, exactly. I put on a mask, and he was like, "Wow, look at you putting on a mask." I'm like, "I know who I'm in the car with. I'll put on the mask."
Does his first name rhyme with Vaughn's?
Yeah. And so I yeah. And so I just, whatever. But like nobody else. I mean, we weren't wearing a mask in an Uber. We weren't wearing a mask in a restaurant. We weren't masking anywhere. Like it's just, it's regular life, which is kind of nice. Yeah. And then I had to get on the plane and get stuck in traffic coming home. My flight got delayed. I had to wear a mask for 10 hours. I'm sweating. My mask is sweating. It's disgusting.
It's so terrible. Yeah. It's funny that you're allowed to go from like a crowded club to like, a miserable airport line, and you're like, where I've just been.
Yeah. I mean, like, wow, are you really serious? I have to wear a mask.
Yeah. 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 I it does seem like, I have no idea, but it seems like the early reports are that Ami might actually be less
severe.
severe, yeah, which would actually be a bit of a gift.
Yeah, Fauci even came out and said that the symptoms are not severe and it's not.
No deaths.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. I think from what I know or hear, that's best case scenario because that thing just runs through everyone. It's like 3 times as transmissible. It runs through everybody. No one dies. And there you go.
Yep.
You don't need a booster.
Amazing.
Okay. First things first. Stocks. There are some particular stocks that I think are worth chatting about that are getting creamed. DocuSign, Twilio, Oatly, Sweetgreen. Almost all stocks that we've talked about on here, if not, they're products that we use. What's going on? Do you have like a general overview?
Well, I mean, DocuSign to me was always.
I love DocuSign. Come on.
I mean, when Anand told us like the DocuSign fucking sales reps were at, what was it, Four Seasons Maui or wherever the hell
Four Seasons Maui, yes. 2018.
I knew this company was a short. Why are you taking these sales reps there? Second of all,
at the height of DocuSign? I've DocuSigned more things in the last year than I've ever thought I would in my life.
Okay, at one point in the last year, DocuSign was worth like $70 billion.
Oh,
DocuSign, $70 billion.
That makes sense.
The stock went down nearly $100. Is now basically got cut by 2/3, and basically their CEO came out and said, "We didn't expect the behavior to go back to normal so quickly. So people are back to signing documents." And
people are back to pen to paper.
Pen to paper.
I like to sign my documents with a fucking pen, not with my finger.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Take it
How
out of
many
my
pens have you put to paper in the last week?
Take it out of my
Take this Bic out of my cold deck.
Yeah, exactly.
How many fucking pens have you touched paper with in the last week?
I'll tell you what I do. I do just
This is how I know it's zero.
Okay, no. I'll sign the doc, and then I use that scanning app on the App Store, and I just take the picture.
You print the paper.
No. I just take a picture of it, and then I send it. I don't.
No, but don't you have to print it, sign it, scan it?
Yes.
You print.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need my
not see you as a printer guy.
Goddamn brother printer. Print that shit. Sign it with my cold.
At your house, you have a printer that you print?
Yeah, I mean, I go to the office, bro. I'm not in my house.
Wow.
And so DocuSign is one. Twilio, just absolutely clobbered. And a lot of these like fast growing SaaS companies have all been clobbered over the last kind of 30 days. We always knew they were way overvalued. And I think the growth from last year, which was just like unsustainable, where everyone was completely digital, all of these companies are now catching up to it. But I think the ones that were like a little more interesting to kind of like, they were already in industries we're a little bit more familiar with. So I was talking about what's my next Peloton, the company that I think that is severely overvalued. I don't know SaaS software. I knew DocuSign was overvalued, but I wish I shorted that one. That one just felt like a slam dunk. But Sweetgreen is down 50% since its peak of its public.
That thing fell. Anand and I made fun of that. I think you missed that episode.
Salad as a software seemed a little weird.
Salad as a service. That seemed like a joke.
Here's the problem. If salads was the future, we
I
wouldn't
like salads.
have obesity on another level.
Well, and look, salads are the future the same way that they're the present, but you're not. It's a fucking salad shop.
Yeah.
It's a salad shop that masked as a technology company. That was actually the biggest fraud of, I think, anything we've covered, because the software businesses are very different, because it's very clear if your growth rates compress, your valuations compress. You don't get the multiples you got that everyone was rewarding you with. The salad shop should not have a SaaS multiple.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and by the way...
Well, now it doesn't.
And the other one that doesn't is Oatly. Oatly, which I was screaming that it was extremely overvalued, at one point was like a $12 billion company. is now a $4 billion company, and it's on its 52-week low. Honest Company, Allbirds, you keep going. All these companies came out with some unrealistic expectations of what these companies should be. I actually don't think any of these companies are bad companies. I just think they were positioned, and like, here's the problem is like, everyone made money, so it doesn't matter. Just some fucking schmuck lost all their money on it. That's it. But
are these guys making it past this 6-month lockup or no?
None of these have.
Like Allbirds, Honest?
No.
No. Sweet Green just went out a few weeks ago and it's already down. So, and I think the SaaS software companies, they were way overvalued.
But those were past the 6 month. Those were way past.
Yeah, those are years in.
Twilio, Snowflake, Datadog, all of them. You could have gotten out.
Yeah.
You liberal Snowflake.
It just seems, I don't know. It seems like it just almost seems like these companies start, you just try to grow. The whole business is growing by any means necessary. That's just what's normal in today's like business startups. And then the only thing left for you to do is go public for the most part because you've taken on all this investment. Then you try to get the biggest multiple possible. Like, it just feels like, what's the end? Like, I don't know. It just feels like a game of growing your valuation as much as you can, but not like there's nothing there. It seems like the new norm.
Yeah. And
like almost like what happened to Vice is like the norm.
Yeah. And I think you get rewarded. So the founders get rewarded, investors get rewarded. So why not play the game? You should do that. If you're able to play that game, you should play it. It becomes someone else's problem, not yours.
Yeah. Remember Retail Joe? I mean, he might have passed away.
Retail Joe got creamed.
Stress, man. I mean, he's been getting his fucking ass kicked for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing before we go, I know we talked to Ian earlier in the episode, but Anand, this one's for you, my financial advisor. Things were going well. We were going crypto to the moon. Bitcoin was way up. Everything, Ethereum, Solana, and end of last week, I started checking and I just saw a lot of red, and I'm just wondering, is it over? Are we back to fiat? Gold? Should I buy gold?
I absolutely love it. I love the correction. I think it's
because you just like smacking the like newbies, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you're a dick. You're a bull.
You know what's crazy is in all the discords I'm in crypto, that's kind of like the tone is that all the long-term people are like, let's wash some of these people out. Everyone's highly leveraged. Clean out that group of people, and then let's get back to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has zero impact on me. I'm a long-term holder. I'm a long-term holder. You know where my belief is. Yeah. And I think these corrections are healthy. I think people get caught up, and I think people, it was getting very frothy, and a good wipeout's nice. I like it.
Yeah. And the reason these things always are like a crash is because of all the leverage, right?
Well, in this case, there was 2 hacks that have been identified this weekend. One on BitSmart and one on Badger DAO. Both 9-figure hacks. So some of the theories
are those both exchanges, or what are those?
BitSmart is an exchange and Badger DAO is a DAO. And
BitMart, right?
Or BitMart, yeah. And they both got hacked. And so what happens when you hack the wallets, you liquidate immediately. As soon as you hack it, you liquidate. So you cause a dip, either in whatever currency. Most people probably, whatever they hacked, they converted to Bitcoin and Ethereum because that's where all the volume is. It's easier to liquidate. So you convert quickly, you dump, and then it causes the shitstorm. And then you talk about...
blame that on Anand too. Because last episode, Anand was telling all these watch snatchers they need to get smarter and start going for NFTs and people's crypto wallets. And I think that's what happened.
By the way, more crypto was stolen this weekend than all the watches in the world history.
True.
There's like $300 million of crypto was stolen. So I don't think $300 million of watches have been stolen in fucking world history. So I think they figured it out. And I think that's the risk, right? Like that's the risk we're all playing in these things. And like all the products and projects that we're all following got hit. And like now it's like you'll see what are the true projects and true coins and true NFTs that actually hold value. Because like there's stuff like Solana and Avalanche and all of these coins that had just gone berserk in the last 30 days. And they've heavily corrected. The DAOs that we were talking about in previous episodes heavily corrected. And so we'll now find out, are these like real deal or are they full of shit?
Yeah, Shibu's not looking too good. Damn,
Doge at 17 cents. What happened to Doge? Where's that little dog?
But Doge didn't, I mean, it didn't even get past, yeah, it's 22 cents was like last week. So 17 is not that bad.
But does Doge have enough, fight in it to get back to 22?
I don't know.
How many people are looking for jobs that were convinced their Doge was going to the moon?
By the way, to that point, there was an incredible meme talking about people leaving Art Basel on Saturday night, like their party, and they go to their laptop to see their crypto, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. Like imagine if you drop like 50K at the club, and like you walk out and you lost half your money.
You've got to report your credit card stolen.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You know what's funny? The irony of that is 2017 Art Basel. I remember landing in Miami off a red eye, and Bitcoin was going from it was just going berserk. It was literally going from 8K to 9K to 15K to 18K and to 20K, and then Coinbase crashed, and ultimately it leveled off, and then in 2018 it all crashed. But yeah, I remember Art Basel was a rise then, and now it's a crash. So.
Yeah, maybe something happens. The crypto Illuminati meets at Art Basel.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good stuff. Let's chat. Dee, you chatted with Ian earlier today, everyone's favorite guest, the guru of all things crypto, NFT, all things life. Future.
He's got a great view of life.
Yep. Okay, let's check in with Ian.
All right, everyone. We are back with everyone's favorite guest, Ian Rogers from Ledger. Welcome back, Ian.
Hey, man. Thank you. So good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. We were just about to, I was going to tell you how Art Basel was. And
how was Art Basel? I was really hoping to go this year. We were actually supposed to do this Ledger conference there, right? Our plan was to do the Ledger conference right before Art Basel so that, you just kind of had built-in parties. And then you have, so if we do a little developers conference and we're in Miami, which is already, crypto city, Bitcoin city, then we just roll right into Art Basel. There'd be we knew there'd be NFT shit going on and be fun, but none of my team could get into plan, because if you're vaccinated and you're French, you couldn't get directly into the US until whatever that was, November 8th. So this is back in October. We're trying to plan this thing, and we were like, man, we can't plan a conference. So we actually have the conference next week here in Paris, but that also means that none of us made it to Basel. So how was it? Give me the review.
So is it obviously in terms of the amount of people, wealth, energy, completely bananas on another level. The interesting thing is so I hung out with two cohorts of people, my personal friends, probably mainly late 30s, early 40s, and we've been going together for years. Some who buy art, some who are in nightlife and are throwing events, and some are just there to have fun. Amongst that group of people, so I had dinners, cocktail parties, and I was with a wide range of people. There was maybe only once at one party was there a mention of NFT or crypto.
Oh wow!
And I think it's because they're old,
right?
Because
that's cool. I'm actually glad because everybody I've been talking to is oh my god, NFTs. Because I talked to Omar Johnson on Friday night from from Beats, and he was down there, and he was like, I haven't had a conversation that didn't include the letters NFT since I got here.
I basically only had one with my close friends, and I'm excluding my close friends who they didn't mention it once. They don't. Right. It's like they're so out to lunch on it, and they're not interested in it. And even a friend of mine who I went to a bunch of shows to, like, he was interested in purchasing art, and he's spending real money, and he's just like, yeah, I own some, but I just don't. I don't get that game yet. I'm going to play the game that I know. And then I met
probably smart, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a bunch of us are going to get crushed out here.
Yeah, and then I look at the younger people. It was like bananas. It was only crypto, Web3, NFT, DeFi, whatever, something from the future. And I think like it was like clearly everyone sub 30 is like dying either to be in Web3 in any way, shape, or form, dying to understand what the next NFT is. Like everyone feels like everyone has FOMO in that world. The NFT thing in particular, and you've talked about this was the first time where I was like, man, this NFT thing is just overblown. And it looks fucking scary. I did not feel good about NFTs after that. I feel good about the utility, the technology, and why it should exist. I did not feel good about the speculation of projects, the way everyone is hoping things will pan out. That got me a little nervous.
Well, it was funny. I was listening to someone talk earlier today, and they used a phrase that I hadn't heard. I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but I think they said that like basically everybody is a currency entrepreneur right now. Yeah. Like if you think about it, like if I do a 10K, NFT drop, well, I just made 10,000 kind of Ian dollars or Ian bills that who knows what they're going to be worth, right? But I made them, and now you're faced with this dilemma of, well, do I grab one because maybe they're going to be valuable, or do I ignore him and then maybe I fucked up? Like you said, it's like the definition of FOMO in a way, right? It's like you can only lose if you don't play. And part of the thing that's causing the FOMO is they're starting to build on each other. You only get into this if you have that. And it's so, that's why I said earlier, like I'm sure a bunch of us, I'm pointing at myself, are going to get crushed because like I aped into the fluff world thing. Yeah. And just to do that, to get like a boy and a girl bunny, and two of the like artificial intelligence machines, and then like one of the thingies. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I'm fucking almost 50 years old. But I'm in kind of deep, and for me, I look at it as, okay, well, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna learn. Those are the only two options. Yeah, it makes sense for me personally because I run the consumer business at Ledger, so there's value to me in knowing this. Even if I lose, I'm going to learn. And if at the end of the day that makes me better at my job at Ledger, and Ledger is a success, then it was worth doing, right? So that's why I kind of feel like you have to play to know. It's not that you just have to play to win, but you have to play to know. And so I feel like I need to like touch it, or I can't know about it. But it definitely feels bubbly for sure. But also though, it feels really deep. I have to say, like, the reason that I would play the opposite and say, a lot of this stuff is actually going to be super valuable. It's really hard to tell, which ones, but a lot of it is going to be super valuable because like this is, it's the first time that, imagine this. This is what I was thinking about earlier. Imagine if, look at all of the activity that there was around the 2000s with Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, BearShare, etc. Right? So all of that took music and movies and just made them free, right? And it was way ahead of like Netflix and Spotify and everything else. Like, only YouTube was able to make the kind of switch from free to paid, from like, oh, it's totally free and creators don't get paid at all, to No, actually creators get paid, and it's just like a huge, it's Google just, handing money to people after all these negotiations with a bazillion people and building tons of infrastructure. Okay, now imagine you could go back and imagine the whole thing was an economy day one, right? So if you take the fluff thing as an example, you've got, you've basically got an ecosystem of characters, brains, creators, artificial intelligence. And now if let's say that you're, a new creator and, you have killer technology, but you don't have any audience yet. Well, you have an incentive to kind of like come into the fluff world because you're like, well, there's a bunch of people over there and I've got this killer product, but nobody cares about it yet. So if I go over there and I make my product work in that world, there's a whole economy that I can kind of attach myself to. So that's where I think like this is actually bigger than anyone realizes, because it's not just speculation on art. There's actually like all of this crazy interconnectivity, getting made. And that's the part that I think that is probably, people don't even understand like the slightest bit yet. That probably has a long way to go. But I think that, when everybody is a currency entrepreneur, like that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I do believe that you're seeing this incredible ecosystem being built. And they're clear, like when you walked around like Art Miami at the show, the only NFT I saw on display in a couple galleries was Bored Apes. Like, and it showed that like that, it looks like it's a real premier project. I'm sure there was someone selling CryptoPunks too, but you saw like Ape felt like, okay, it is broken through into the traditional art world and people are paying attention to it. I didn't see a lot of the other projects that people are excited about and talk about. That doesn't mean to say that they can't do well. It's just, what breaks through and what doesn't. And it's clear to me that like, look, traditional art, that whole world in Art Basel, it is highly speculative. It's very much the same game, right? I guess the bigger thing is there's, and that's a very centralized version, right? If Gagosian has your project and represent you as an artist, then you're out of here. If the right gallery picks you up, you're out of here. I guess the comp would be in the NFT world is if the right influencer or the right, high profile person backs it, then you become the art kind of curator for the community. So I think that piece is interesting. The problem is the number of projects. Like when I was walking around Art Miami and Art Context, like it was clear. There was like a dozen artists that were to watch. Like the usual blue chip, the George Condos, the Ed Rusches. There was a few black artists. I think his name was Abudia that everyone was paying attention to. And then that was it. There was like a dozen artists that everyone had their eyes on. Whereas in NFT land, it's like you're going to be interested in something different. I'm going to be interested in something different. So it's hard for us to all like be aligned on, on something that could be really, really big. So that was kind of my takeaway. It's just like, there was music stuff, there was art stuff, there was utility stuff. There's so much going on. I don't know how to pay attention to all of it or what to gravitate toward.
Yeah. You know what I've been thinking a lot about, and that I think another thing that makes this all completely different is the fact that it's global, the fact that it's always on, and the fact that it's always liquid. Okay, so that sounds silly and obvious what I just said, but actually what made me think about this is now I have a few pieces that people want. Like not even like any big stuff, but I've got like, a couple of atom bombs. I've got the poolside membership and a couple other things that I get offers on several times a day.
Wow.
Right. And I don't take any of them because they're not really high enough for me to take them. Yep. 10X and I would take them. 10X my investment, I would take it. Yep. Below that, I'm like, no, it's a member. Atom Bomb is a membership. Like I own a membership to Bobby's thing. Same thing for Pool Suite. So I'm, so I whatever. So, but what it made me think about is, okay, like I've talked about before, I also have a Supreme Vuitton skate case, right? It's not even in my house, in storage, right? I don't really know what it's worth, except that I saw that it went for 3x what I paid for it at Christie's about, a few months after I bought it. Now imagine if that thing was, if that thing was basically just always on display and people could always make offers on it. I would know in my head exactly what it's worth. And I'd probably have a price. I probably would have parted ways with it, I'm guessing, right? Because someone's going to hit that price on that particular product where I'm going to go, yeah, take it. And so if you think about like this notion that now imagine the Vuitton Supreme drop the next time they do that, it should be NFTs, right? And so imagine what happens instead of people standing in line and getting a Supreme bag, it's a drop of NFTs. They all go. Maybe there's a whitelist, should make sense. If you're a Vuitton, if you're an important client at Vuitton, there should be a window where I don't have to stand in line on the street because I'm VIP, right? So there's a window where I can get first dibs. And then guess what? They're liquid. And so before the bag has even been made, it might have changed hands 50 times. Right? And so I just think the fact that these markets are always on, meaning like the middle of the night, someone in Australia can look at the product and see who owns it, what's the price history, etc. The fact that it's global and it's liquid. I have a Vespa that I want to sell. I'm going to take a third of the cost of this Vespa because I just don't want to deal with it. Yeah. You know what it's like? You've got this physical thing. It's France. I've got to somehow transfer a title in France. Like, oh my God, like it's not that liquid, but if you imagine like these tokens are so liquid and if the tokens represent something, so they either represent status in a community or maybe they represent, a piece of jewelry, imagine if like every piece that Ben Baller had ever made had an NFT that went with it. And if you bought the NFT, you could buy the piece of jewelry back from whomever, right? Yeah. You would know. I mean, I bet the total market cap of Ben Baller jewelry would be 10x what it is today in physical terms. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because there isn't actually like a market cap for Ben Baller jewelry because even just to get all the pieces, imagine if we wanted to do an exhibition of Ben Baller jewelry. You know what I mean? Like, how would we track down everyone who has a piece? We couldn't. Yeah. But, if you look at some of these PFP projects, you can literally just like go click and there's all 10,000. There you go.
Yeah. So is that a good segue? So that's how you kind of see then how fashion will eventually converge with NFTs. It's just knowing the proof of purchase across entire collections.
I think there's two things. I think one is there's just the concept of identity and how do we identify ourselves online? Yep. And the other is this notion that there's some correlation between these things that I buy online and things in the real world. And there's a rarity between the two of them. Yep. I really wish I had an NFT for that Vuitton skate case. Yeah. That would be meaningful to me in my wallet. It would mean something for me to have it there. And I think that goes for pretty much anything. Right? Like a Thrasher NFT has a different meaning than a Transworld Skateboarding NFT. A Hennessy NFT has a different meaning than a Ciroc NFT. Like, who are you? Like, what is, and I really actually see the brand coming back in a way. Like, imagine like, the kind of the streaming era, like obliterated record labels in a way, right? Bandcamp has kind of given them a new lease on life in a way, in my view. But, and I kind of like, there are record labels, I think that are brands and brands, I think, help us identify ourselves online. They're signposts that we take with us. And I think that's what's going to happen ultimately is that we're going to use that. I mean, I participated. So things I've done in the past week just to, kind of like show you where I've been experimenting. But one of them is I went into this Flower Girls PFP project, which is going to get revealed later tonight, actually. But I was on the whitelist. I minted 10. Public sale happened. It sold out in 30 minutes. Now there will be a reveal, and we'll see what happens. Like I think, and just to be honest, the ideal for me would be if I could sell enough to get my money back, basically, right, to cover my cost, and then I'll give them to my daughters for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I'll just sit with them and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, and who knows, maybe they go to zero, but if I got my money back, then I'm okay. I don't care. Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a cool project. Money goes to charity. I think it's a cool artist, so I can only lose a little bit in this.
Yeah.
So I did that project. I also, Shinoda dropped his NFT thing this week. It was actually a tough one. I haven't talked to him about exactly how the live one went. The pre-mint went pretty well. The mint was tough because I think bots were getting a lot. It's like ticket scalper stuff. So I haven't talked to him about it. I need to talk to him before I know what really happened. But from what I could tell, it looked like bots scooped up some of the stuff that should have gone to the fans, which means we just have things we have to solve in this community. But man, the art is super cool. It's so cool what he did. Mm-hmm. He made these like generative art pieces, and he made a mixtape. And so the mixtape is like, it's basically just a bunch of bars. It's him rapping. If you haven't heard it, like, it's on object.com. I'll send you a link.
Oh,
it's super cool. And it's really good. It's like, I think it's like some of the coolest stuff Mike's done in a really long time. And it's, anyone can like look and listen, but there's only X number of owners. And it's super cool. Like a really, really cool thing to do for his fans, and a cool experiment. He did it on the Tezos blockchain, which means also it wasn't,
cheap,
he's cheap to mint. He's thinking about, environmental concerns and that sort of thing. So he really like, and artistically, of course, it's cool because that's, he's a Renaissance man. And then the other first thing I was going to mention is Givenchy did a drop, and they did a drop of art with the street artist Cheeto. So it's Matt Williams plus Cheeto. And that was and they were all one of ones, and there were 15 of them. And that went for kind of like 1 to 5 ETH, depending on which piece. But I think, to me, there's a spectrum there, right? Where we've talked about before what Bobby's doing with the hundreds. You've got kind of more, things that are just sort of like straight up art drop, which is really what Givenchy did this time. But I think next time it'll probably be more tied to product.
Yeah.
You've got what Mike did, which is like really trying to reinvent the album. So he could have just dropped a mixtape. Think about it, man. Like 15 years ago, he would have just put those bars on SoundCloud and crossed his fingers and hope someone gave a shit. And instead, like, he built an economy. Like that's like kind of mind blowing. Like to just put the other flip on what we were talking about before. It's like, oh wait, worst case scenario, what Mike did is worth 0. Oh well, guess what? That's what it was worth before.
Yeah.
Right? Like he would have just put that on SoundCloud, and he's supposed to be stoked about the like promotional value.
Yeah.
That's Web 2. That's Web 2. That's why people are excited about Web 3, is because better or worse, this is something else.
Yes.
And then you look at this Flower Girls thing again, like let's look at it in 6 months and see where it's at. Right. But even if it's just a lot of fun right now, right? Like let's say like, worst case scenario, I lost a little bit of money, but I'm playing a game and I'm going to give them to my daughters as presents for Christmas, and they like think they're cool and they have them in their wallet, and you know what I mean? Like, okay, is that worse than buying a Cabbage Patch doll at Walmart? However many years ago, I don't think so. Actually, I think I'm giving my daughter like a one of one that she can show off in a digital world where when she lives in a digital world. Like, to me, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. So anyway, when it comes to fashion, I think it's about identity at the end of the day. So I did the Voices conference this week, which is the Business of Fashion conference, and I think actually that fashion and luxury fashion are going to adapt to this very, very, very quickly, because it's about identity. And if I have the opportunity to identify with a brand, I'm going to take it, and it's only going to strengthen my relationship with that brand. It's only going to make me want to wear, that brand more. I mean, I talk about Dr. Martens, and like they just did this neighborhood drop. I wish we would have had NFTs to go with that. You know what I mean? It only like the neighborhood drop is already super desirable.
Yeah.
But if I got a collectible, like it might push me over the line from, do I want those? I'm not sure if I want those. Oh wait, they come with an NFT and there's only 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll send me those shoes.
Yeah.
Send me those shoes. I'm in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think the challenge is that as for young people particularly, they're really trying, like you're thinking about it from a holistic way and the future of the way this whole thing works. And I think part of the reason why is because you're at a company that's a big part of that. I think for young people where they struggle is like they're right now, it's all about money, right? Like, sure, there's so I think for them, it's like when I start thinking about like, how do I make money in this economy? I really look at like, what are the infrastructure opportunities to participate in? What are the things, people always like to purchase coins where all the developer action is. And I think what gets me excited is like, I believe everything you're saying is going to be multiples bigger than we all believe, but it's so hard to predict which one. We get to be in an opportunity like, oh, we just love something, let's just buy it. All of these people are doing it for money, right? They want to make money off of it. And I think like a good segue would be like, I've been playing a lot on Ledger and Ledger Live, especially the app. It's insane to me how much has come on that platform in the last 6 to 12 months. Just like everything from you're staking your ETH to the Paraswap to now the DeFi things with Zerion, I think it's called. Like, how do you guys view the world and how do you view where you guys play? Because like the thing about these Web3 companies, it's like you guys are iterating so quickly. Like I'm sure when Ledger started, it was like, oh, it's a cold storage wallet. And today, like I look at it like, oh, I don't need anything else. I could just do everything I want to do on Ledger. Is that how you guys view the world?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Thank you for asking. From the way I look at it is there's a Ledger as a platform. And, so what we do fundamentally is we help you, protect your private keys and sign transactions securely. So that's a very simple thing, but it's super important in this world. Like endpoint security is kind of the whole game, right? Because you now have digital ownership. And if you have digital ownership, then that means like you can't lose what you own. Right. So that and since the value is stored on the blockchain, the time that you are in danger is at the moment of transaction. So there's really only two ways you can lose your value. One, somebody steals your keys. Two, you're making a transaction and they somehow get in the middle of it. So if you can just lock those two things down, then you're secure. And the thing for us is everyone needs that. Right? It doesn't matter if you are Bitcoin or Ethereum or Polkadot or Solana or Avalanche or Graph Token or like everything works the same. You've got, you've got like keys. Okay. So yeah, it's funny. I was listening to this great interview with Brian Armstrong of Coinbase on Bankless from a couple weeks ago. And, first of all, he's talking about self-custody is the future, which is super interesting because that's basically like AOL saying, the web is the future, right? Coinbase saying self-custody is the future when Coinbase is a custodian who holds your keys, but they're saying self-custody is the future. Okay, well, that's cool. He's right, but that's what Ledger's been doing for 7 years, right? Yeah. The other thing that he said though is, and he says this at the end of the podcast, he says, look, I think the last 10 years has been about getting crypto and the next 10 years is going to be about using crypto. It's a great way to put it. Obviously, the dude is brilliant, even though he looks like that dude from Star Trek at this point. Like he's super super smart. I completely agree with him on this. And so it's the same thing for us. Like you said, the old use case for Ledger was I get some crypto, I secure a Ledger, I put it in my closet, and I forget about it. Now it's like, no, I'm using it all the time. Like I just sent an NFT to a friend earlier. I sent. I traded I bought 2 of those like poolside memberships, and my friend and Parker wanted one, so He sent me some value. I sent him one of the memberships, like, you know, boom. Like, you're using it all the time, all day, every day. Like I said, I was buying all those NFTs this week. I was bidding. Another thing I did this week is my friend Glenn Friedman, who does amazing photographs. I got to send you, he bumped into Ice-T in the street the other day. We gave him a Christmas message. I got to send you that. Maybe you can run it on the show. You know, Glenn did his first NFT this week. I spent, you know, $250 in gas fees to lose the auction, right? Because I was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth bidding. So my point is that you're using your device a lot to sign messages and send money. So to answer your question, the way that we think about it is Ledger is this platform that has all kinds of coins. We have all of the chains at our party, not just Bitcoin, not just Ethereum, not just any one. But also then we build on top of it. So then how do you divide that? And the way that I divide it is there's the transactional part of it, which is buy, sell, exchange, stake, lend, earn yield, you know, those kinds of things. We have a bunch of announcements coming up this week. So Thursday, Friday, we have this conference here, and it's like our WWDC. So we're going to announce, you know, you already mentioned all the things that are on the platform. We've got like 10 announcements lined up, things that we're going to add to, you know, that we're putting in the mix here. New coins we're supporting, new services we're offering, new services we're supporting, you know, bigger dive into NFTs, et cetera. We're announcing all this stuff later this week. There's also, though, this whole big bucket of digital assets like NFTs, but not only. You've got, you know, these massive asset classes like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, Aave, Avalanche, et cetera. You know, like you've got, and so all of those, like those are these communities that you have to support. So I think in some ways we're kind of like a Google, right? Like what I mean by that is we're horizontal. You know, it doesn't matter if you are into, you know, classical music or, you know, speed metal. Like Google's got you, right? It doesn't matter if you are a scientist or if you're super into Barbie dolls. You know, like Google's got you. And so Ledger has to be that like sort of platform. It doesn't really matter if you're a Bitcoin maximalist or, you know, you're super into the Flare network. You know, we have to do what we do for you. And then we need, but the nice thing is that they're kind of primitives that you can build on top. So, you know, we have applications for the Nano. Ledger Live is open source. Then we have dApps. Then we have the way that you integrate into a third-party wallet, like, you know, like Coinbase Wallet, like MetaMask, like, you know, Kepler, et cetera, et cetera. You know, like so it's you know, I guess I thought I was going to give you a simpler answer, but the bottom line is that there's a platform, and then there are these kind of verticals on top of the platform, like transactions, like, you know, NFTs, et cetera, et cetera. That's how we think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense because like I'm getting more and more kind of ingrained in like the Ledger ecosystem. Like I have some ETH in it. I moved my NFTs in there. I did some trading on it. Like I'm understanding how I put money in some DAOs. Like how do I, you know, secure that money? Because like, you know, one of the things that like is really interesting is this is such like a fast moving ecosystem. And like we saw it this weekend. There was a little bit of a correction this weekend and it spooked everyone. And like the speed at things were moving at was so fast. Like there was a meme that was going around, someone leaving an Art Basel party at 2 a.m. on their laptop looking like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Yeah. But it's like, and I think, you know, it's interesting to see how the platform, like a platform like Ledger is evolving where like it's too much of a pain to be like, oh, I got to send my this money to my MetaMask to this to do that. It's like that's too slow. Like
we did good business this weekend because people were moving to the side. You know, they were like, oh, this is happening. Okay, I'm going to move from Bitcoin into a stable coin real quick. Yeah, you know, and to be able to do that like from your cold storage. Yeah, I mean that's game changing. Yeah. You know, and I'll just tell you, like, for you and your listeners, like the way that I use Ledger is still like, it's like the center of gravity for me because it's self-custody, right? So it's where my NFTs are. It's where the bulk of my wealth is. I actually have a couple of ledgers. because I have the kind of the one that I drag around with me, that's just, and also the one that's doxed. It's the one that's got my public Ethereum address on it. So if people want to know people want to peek at my stuff, they're only looking at that one. Yeah. Now I could have separate addresses on the same nano, but it's just cleaner for me to have kind of, different ones, also that I don't have any single points of failure. Something happens to, somebody discovers, one of my sets of 24 words, like in the, in the pyramid where I have it buried, then, it's like, okay, so then I don't lose everything. And I do still, though, I use FTX, I use BitTrue, I use Kraken. Yeah. And I use them for trading. I use them for like limit buys, and like I've got a nice little portfolio at FTX. And then what I do is, as Ledger Live supports things, because I look at a token like Solana, which is supported on the Ledger, but it's not supported in Ledger Live yet. Yeah. Right. So I can secure it with a wallet like Phantom, but I still can't see my value in Ledger Live. Yeah. So basically, as Ledger Live supports things, I kind of move them into Ledger Live. So if I'm doing things that are speculative, usually with pretty small amounts of money, I'm buying a little this, a little that, I might do it on FTX, I might do it on Kraken, I move some things around, but then my kind of center of gravity, everything comes back to Ledger for me. And that's just to say, like, as we're building out that ecosystem, but one of the things that we're really investing in, we should have supported Solana 9 months ago, and it's not because we didn't care. It's just because, like any startup, you have 20 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. So, you can't do everything. We spent our summer building this platform that you can add all this to, trying to improve our developer resources so that people can, integrate, into Ledger more easily, fixing the MetaMask problem, building new devices. You know what I mean? Like you can only, you can only, there are only so many hours in the day. So we're, but anyway, it's crazy. It's super, super exciting. And you're right. It's moving so fast. But the cool thing about it is how collective it is. Solana is a great example. The Solana Foundation are the ones, who are helping to build Solana into Ledger Live, because Ledger Live is open source. We're talking all the time to, whether it's like, the Terra folks about the Kepler wallet, or the Zerion guys about the Zerion wallet, or, even Coinbase about their non-custodial wallet. There's like it's a big community that we're all like living within. And, that's the exciting part. That's where it really feels like the early internet to me. Yeah. Like it's just like lots of different projects, the pieces are interlocking. And I love it with like and the thing that is kind of exciting to me is when I look at a project like Pfaff and I see that they're not standing alone. I'm not reliant on, Electronic Arts to come out with the next rev in that franchise. Yeah. It's a primitive and other people are going to build on top of it. Yeah. That's crazy exciting. We've never had that in the gaming world, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Yeah, and I'm excited to hear all the announcement this week. Obviously, if there's anything you could preview for us, we'd love to hear it. If not, we will wait till Thursday and Friday to hear all the exciting things.
I would say look out for. Last time I was here, I talked about, or when I was with you in LA, actually, I talked about the narrative of like, hey, my name's Damien. I live in Baltimore. I'm 21 and I don't have a bank account. So that narrative will get advanced on Thursday. NFTs, big narrative will get advanced. And then I think the other big thing is just support for the coins that people have been asking us for. Okay. And also just completely different velocity in supporting new things. We are going to announce, we will now announce a new device, but it's not a big leap. We have actually 2 big leaps coming, but that's not what this announcement is. Okay. This announcement is one that is really necessary, and it's really good, but it's not the big leap.
Okay. Well, we'll be all excitingly waiting for it. We'll tune in this week. Thanks again. All right, we're on to some shout outs. And, Unfortunately, Drama's not here, so we'll give him a shout out. Happy birthday!
Drama missed his own birthday show.
Happy birthday,
That's some
Drama.
karma right there.
Happy birthday. He shares a birthday with Dr. Jeff Toll and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday to Dr. Jeff.
Yeah. And so happy birthday, guys. And I also have another shout out coming from a listener that is out in Massachusetts, and it's out to his wife, Tejal Patel, and Priyanka Patel, his sister. They just opened a cannabis shop in Massachusetts called Uma Flower. I mean, Indians have come a long way. They're opening up cannabis shops?
Slanging weed.
Slanging weed? I love it. I'd love to know how that conversation went down with your parents. And so we'll save that for another episode. But they are very close to the New Hampshire border. They're 45 minutes out of Boston. It's called Pepperell, Massachusetts. So go check it out. Uma Flower, Massachusetts. And their Instagram handle is UMA Flowers MA. So check that out. And congratulations. And if you go in there, tell them you got sent by group chat and ask for a discount. and see what they give you.
Hopefully a discount.
I know, because they haven't offered us a discount, but you gotta ask. But that's amazing. And then, yeah, shout out to everyone we met at in Miami. That was awesome, man. Kathy's are really doing it. Incredible group of people. It's I'm excited for NFT because I know when everyone gets to meet the other listeners, I think their head's going to explode because we have an incredible group of people. So shout out to all of you. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, I've got one shout out. We have another shout out from Anish Patel, who said, on Wednesday, after listening to the pod, I booked a last-minute flight to Miami to explore Art Basel and see what all the hype was about. Hotels were extraordinarily expensive, but I managed to find what felt like the only spot in the city, the last remaining bunk bed at a hostel. Just wanted to say this was such an amazing experience, meeting new people, getting exposure to up-to-date upcoming artists, and learning more about NFTs. Most importantly, for everyone who I tried to convince to come on the trip with me, Liz, Amanda, Sunny, Kyle, Kashan, sorry if I butchered that, you missed the opportunity to be a part of a true cultural renaissance. Better say yes next time, you old farts.
I love it. No, I think that's actually great sentiment because when you're young, you should never say no to anything. Like if your friends are like, hey, we're going to this place, just do it. Just go.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. I mean, as people that have gone to everything, when people told us to go, we went. And by the way, like even at our age, we're still
saying yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't say no. It's just, it, like you feel it. You're walking around, you're talking to people, you're like, damn, this is it. And it's hard to explain to your family, to your wife, to your husband why you're going. But like when you get there, you'll get it. Like,
yeah, you just Google the word serendipity, and that's what happens when you just put yourself in different.
I thought you were going to say Google propinquity.
That too, propinquity, serendipity. But the point is, serendipity is just like these chance happenings, these chance like meetings, these chance things, and you can't actually measure that, and you just have to put yourself in a position to like meet as many people as possible.
Absolutely. So the next serendipitous event will be, there's Paris Fashion Week, there's Sundance Film Festival.
Paris Fashion Week? What are you talking about? We're talking Super Bowl. 2 months.
No, Paris is before that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I won't be a part of that.
Sundance.
I'll be at the Super Bowl.
You'll be at the Super Bowl.
Sundance, Paris, there's Super Bowl, there's Winter Music Conference. There's Coachella. There's Grand Prix in Monaco. There's Cannes Film Festival. There's Mykonos. There's the Summer Paris Fashion Week.
A lot of serendipity.
Yeah. There's you. If you miss all that, then you fucked up. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll be back on Tuesday.
Peace.